The movie guys love movies. Any comments made about a father whose child is clearly possessed by evil spirits and wreaks havoc in an entire family are purely for entertainment purposes only. Isn't that right? Insidious Chapter 2. You thought we were going to say Billy Ray Cyrus, didn't you? You know they have a lot in common, Insidious 2 and the Miley Cyrus thing, because her tongue does those crazy acrobats like the kids when their backs bend in those movie trailers. Her tongue did that the entire award show.
Is that the plural for Cyruses? Syri?
Syri, I think.
Yeah, gymnasts have become creepy now in these movies.
Yes. And her tongue is
Anyone
creepy.
who can
Have you ever met a Romanian?
All
They're
that?
a little off.
Well, that to begin with.
Yeah.
Right.
Most ghosts are Romanian. I think that's what they say.
That's what we've learned today.
Well, they have
They
the
just
accent.
restless once they're dead.
We couldn't go on and on about the Syri. We're a movie show. And the only movie I can think of that Miley Cyrus has been in is a movie called LOL with Demi Moore.
What's that stand for? I'm so old. What's LOL stand for?
OMG, I'm forgetting.
And who's Demi Moore?
Oh.
I'm so old.
I thought she was in another movie, and
Yeah,
she thought she was going to accept an award the next year. Was that Miley?
Oh, that's right, the one with Liam
Yeah,
Hemsworth.
yes.
She's now going to marry, I think.
Oh,
Is that still going to happen?
knows?
Who's
I
what?
don't know.
What?
You saw her
Who's
dad the
marrying
other
Liam
night.
Hemsworth?
You
Demi
should have
or-
asked him.
Miley Cyrus, no?
Oh.
Don't come to me for
That's
TMZ news. I am not your guy. I am the host of the movie Showcast.
You heard it here first. Miley Cyrus marrying Demi Moore. Thanks, Paul.
There you go.
Welcome to the show, part of the vast and sprawling movie guys empire. Now, before we begin, let me correct you on a couple of things, okay? Aristotle was not Belgian. The central message of Buddhism is not every man for himself, and the London Underground is not a political movement. Those are all mistakes, Otto. I looked them up. You've reached ground zero for all things
long
movies and comedy. We bring the two together right here on our show every week with rants, sketches, previews, characters, jokes, bits, special guests, and more. You can expect that in the next hour or so as we broadcast from the Admirals Club, waiting to catch our layover. Catch us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and if you see the sausage being made, then you're watching YouTube as well. Search the movie Showcast or the movie guys, and we come right up. And don't forget, we are also available on badtomato.fm Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern. We can also be found on WBAD.net at that time. Paul Preston here with Lee Caius, Adam Witt, and Karen Volpe. Our special guest this week is one of the finest improvisers you'll ever see, performing and teaching all over the country, and also host of the ADD Comedy Podcast with Dave Razowsky and Ian Foley. Dave Razowsky will be here in a bit.
Mr. Razowsky.
And as ever, we will bring you our signature previews of what's opening this weekend in theaters. This week is Friday the 13th, so we're being treated to the horror sequel, Insidious Chapter 2, where a family finds themselves in a haunted house where evil spirits are making a mess of their kids.
I swear we just saw this.
Which we did, but it's from the director of The Conjuring, that's perhaps why. And later in the show...
There was a time when I had it all. People would ask me, what was it like being untouchable? The question they really should have asked was, what happens when it's all over?
Not directed by Martin Scorsese, but The Family, produced by Martin Scorsese. So it has to have the Stones in the trailer.
Yes.
Right?
That's great. It's keeping with the great tradition.
It's never a bad bet to put the Stones in your trailer.
Now, is he really a mobster actor? I'm trying to think of all the mobster movies De Niro has done, but I can only think of three.
Okay.
Donnie Brasco.
No.
He was not in that.
Yeah.
That was Pacino. You're making a classic
Was it?
70s
Very
mistake.
interesting.
No, the TV version with Tim Daly. I'm making that up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, didn't you mean Tyne Daly?
That was the animated version with the voice of Tyne Daly.
Okay.
That's the Daily Show.
Goodfellas and this. What's the other one?
Why
Goodfellas,
show?
Casino.
The one right behind
Godfather
you.
Part 2.
They're hiding as mobsters.
Analyze
That's
this,
Pacino.
analyze that.
He's a criminal.
Oh, all right.
No. That's
Analyze this, analyze that.
Analyze this and analyze
Playing
that.
on his
That's what I'm
character.
next to. Yeah.
Okay.
And the freshman. I think that's somebody else playing on
He's
their
played
mob.
criminals. Now, if he's mob, I can't remember in movies like The Score. You know,
Yeah.
was he, I don't think he was mob in
So
that.
he's not mob
No,
and
but
Weirdo
yeah.
Angels?
But
don't
that's
think
so.
we just named 5 key big mob movies with him playing that
Which is why you
character.
cast him in The Family.
Which is great. This is a sort of antithesis to that. It's basically actually this looks like, and we'll talk about it in a little bit, but it looks like if you took Ray Liotta's character from the very end of Goodfellas on and
Exactly.
recast it with De Niro, you know. So basically Ray Liotta's character, 20 years after Goodfellas.
To live the rest of my life as a schnook. Is that what he calls himself?
Schnook, schmuck.
Something
One of
like
those
that.
words, one of those mobby words.
Now you get to see the
Schmuck
schnookiness.
is Jewish. That's not Italian.
Schnook,
Are
schmuck,
we having
schmuck.
somebody look into the Donnie Brasco thing?
Oh no, I
good
think there's
Lord.
some cross pollination with some of those words with
I'm
the mob.
sure
I
my
think.
grandfather would use
Yeah,
both.
Meshuggah. Remember that?
Sugarna?
Get that Meshuggah in the trunk of the car. What's the matter with you?
So-and-so could be a mensch. It's all the same.
I'm gonna plots you.
All right.
As soon as I'm done with this matzah, I'm going to rip your head off. All right.
Apes
Hey,
don't read philosophy. Yes, they do, Otto. They just don't
well
understand
done.
What is
it.
that from?
That was A Fish Called Wanda.
A Fish Called
One of the
Wanda.
movies of all time. All right, but listen, we've waited long enough, and fan of Insidious have been waiting since April 1st, 2011 for a sequel. So let's preview it.
right.
Just when you thought having your comatose son kidnapped by a demon and used as a portal from hell to haunt your life could leave no permanent scars, there comes Insidious Chapter 2. Lee?
Remember when you saw the first Insidious and you thought to yourself, hey, this isn't a half-bad ripoff / combination of The Exorcist and Poltergeist? Well, get ready to enjoy a not half-bad ripoff / combination of The Exorcist 2 and Poltergeist 2.
It's hard to say get ready to enjoy with
It is.
anything that has
Well,
to do
there's
with
12 twos in that
Insidious.
sentence. Get ready to enjoy to.
See what they did there? They just took the 2 and...
Just take the 2 and move it around.
Si, and don't say si. Say we. Si, I mean we. I don't know what I mean. I want to go home.
That's so far more appropriate than I thought it was going to be.
That's Lee's obscure clip of the day.
That is.
Now, if the title and
Good one.
Webster's dictionary are to be believed, Insidious Chapter 2 stands to be twice as intending to beguile in a stealthy, treacherous, or deceitful manner as the first Insidious.
Insidious Chapter 2 comes from the writing-directing team of James Wan and Lee Winnell, who brought you the Saw series and obviously Insidious 1, and who must be a riot to be around. Now, they fashioned a career out of making $20 out of 35 cents and an old button. The first Insidious was a monster hit, making almost $100 million on a budget of $1.5 and an old mitten they found on the side of the road.
James Wan was also recently offered the chance to direct Fast and Furious 7 by Vin Diesel, who said,
That's the deal. Take it or leave it.
and Wan was hired. Diesel said this because of the originality of Insidious.
This ain't nothing new.
I need to ask you what he just said. The first one I got it, take it or leave it.
This ain't nothing new.
Okay.
It was a joke on the originality of it.
Oh.
This ain't
Well, I would get that joke
I
if he
only
would
say that because I have
enunciate.
that written here.
He's cheating.
Onward.
Cheating. All right.
If you remember Insidious 1, or like us, are clever enough to pass a Wikipedia entry off as common knowledge, it told the story of a charming family, husband and wife Josh and Renee Lambert, along with their 3 children, Foster, Dalton, and Mo, we're guessing. Wikipedia didn't really have the name of the 3rd child, so...
Dalton is the child who went into a coma that connected him to an astral world known as the Further. Or maybe it was the Father and the spirits were Swedish. Bjorn, help the Further with the goat. A terrible joke.
But thank you for selling it.
It's all about dialect.
But after seeing the box office returns on Insidious 1, the ghosts decided they're not done with the Lambert family just yet, and this time the ghosts from the Further haunt the father, Josh Lambert.
Now, he's played by Patrick Wilson, who you might remember from Watchmen or The A-Team, or probably something better than those, but that's what I remember him from.
Now, in the first Insidious, the family hopscotches from one house to another in an attempt to flee evil spirits. Well, it turns out the houses weren't haunted. It was the kid. And Patrick Wilson's character, Josh Lambert, had a Haley Joel Osment thing going on as a child, and he could see dead people. So I think the lesson here is that children are just plain evil.
Indeed. And since the strategy of changing houses didn't work before, they thought they'd try it again. And so this time, it's over the river and through the woods they go to seek refuge in Grandma's house. And this is a conspicuously scary house, complete with a big front door that has stained glass inlay. There's even a large wooden staircase, a spooky basement, and plenty of creaky wooden floors, billowy curtains, and squeaking doors with old metal doorknobs.
Ever notice how nobody is ever haunted in a split-level condo with ultra-modern stainless steel kitchens and linoleum tile flooring?
And from Oh Yeah, Her and Associates casting, this film also features September box office gold Barbara Hershey.
Oh, yeah, her. And like the first Insidious, the poster for this movie has the title Insidious spelled with the S-I highlighted in red. As a result, it kind of reads as Insidious.
Si, and don't say si. Say we. Si, I mean we. I don't know what I mean. I want to go home.
Why did they make that stylistic choice in font color and highlight that word? Is there some hidden meaning? Is it a code, or is it just a clever nod to impending immigration reform?
Well,
no, seriously, can somebody answer this? Because we have no freaking idea.
okay, there you go. That's your movie. I mean, we.
And don't they spell the D with a 2 backwards? I love it when they.
The S probably, right?
Love
Yeah.
/ hate that.
Yeah.
I thought that's what they did on the Peanuts. They put the S backwards.
Little Rascals did that
Oh,
for sure.
right,
Oh, the
yeah.
Peanuts would do it too. The
Right.
Well, yeah,
psychiatrist
not
would say
quite
it, all
the
that.
same way that started with
Oh.
like 7, with
Oh,
like the
all right.
7 as the V or
So if you get
whatever.
nothing else from the movie, guys, Insidious, the Chapter 2 is a kids movie.
Yeah.
So go out and
Take
enjoy
your
it.
children to that movie.
kids.
Kids
But
love
there
it.
is no explanation for the SI being red. It's SI. And I
No.
looked
None
on
that
the
I
first
found.
poster. The first poster does the same thing.
Now, I could go to these movies and find out, but I haven't yet.
We don't have time. We're trying to make fun of them.
Well, now if there's 2, I'm more interested.
Oh, yeah?
That's true. It's getting closer to
Plus,
the must-see.
well, yeah, must see is 4. When there's 4 of something, I'm in. But
There's
but
like
it's,
4 crickets in here. I'm going to kill them.
there is.
Yeah.
We also have a fly that's shooting
But speaking
by
about the
camera.
house
like
that they
an
go
arc.
to, the house they go to, they just repeat everything that happened literally in the first one. There's a baby monitor moment. There's people just showing up in the living room. It's
Well, that's what the cool thing is. Now, I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to Insidious. I know we reviewed it a while back, but I went back and watched it this time because I'm like, okay, it made a.
wait, you saw the first one?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
But you know, it was made for $1.5 million and made 100. I mean, no summer blockbuster. The Avengers can't beat that profit split. You know, that is huge. So, but the cool thing about the first one, why I want to go see it right now is like, yeah, okay, there's this. They find out that it's the boy and he's a connection to like an astral world and the father and all that stuff. But it's just an excuse to do as many creepy things as you want because there's no rules for what that does in your world. So the baby monitor says weird shit, and then there's like a woman in the other room. But because of course, I don't know, anything can happen because the
That
rules
would
they've
drive
set up.
me
you know?
crazy. I like sometimes when they work with the rules and they stay within the rules because then I can try to figure out what I would do. But if there's no rules, I don't know.
It seems like they're really stretching for reasons to make things creepy.
How often does the planes go over?
Oh, so often you won't notice.
I'm not as intrigued by this movie as I think the two of you or maybe even
It's
Karen.
going to be a number
no,
1. That's my
those two.
prediction.
It's gonna.
Yeah,
Good
I-
timing.
I-
Summer blockbuster wear out is over. You know, even Riddick only made like 17 million, so this will make 17 million.
That's just too
Well,
bad.
in the
Adam said,
summer,
Good timing.
as you have said, just in time for DVD release on Halloween.
yeah, basically.
Oh, that's what
yeah.
they're
why
doing.
this is
That's
coming out now.
brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's that time of year too to start watching scary movies. So, like, you know, I'll watch some Insidious.
Now, here's a little thing I noticed with this because
Yeah.
now during the preview, we had to choose to call the first movie Insidious 1. Now, is that forever what it's called now that a sequel has come along?
Oh.
You know, like you have Insidious. Well, the Insidious 2. Well, remember in Insidious 1? Is that what
The
you call
first
it now?
Insidious?
Just
You
Insidious.
can't just say, remember in Insidious. Like, you can't say that anymore, can you?
Oh.
It's forever now.
Because you have to
Insidious 1.
distinguish it.
Yeah.
Because if I were to say, "Hey, Paul, I remember in the movie Insidious."
Oh, which one?
The one with the baby monitor. No, the one with the baby
baby
monitor.
Yeah, which one?
Yeah.
The
one
one
where
in the
the-
spooky house.
Yeah,
Sorry,
the
which
one-
one?
The one where the person goes into a coma.
Which one?
I guess I'm just thinking, Paul, is I don't know if anyone will ever say those words. Hey, Paul, remember in Insidious? ... I don't think that'll happen.
I'm a movie
so-
guy. I could stumble into that.
We could
Maybe.
who's on
Somewhere.
first these two movies. Who's in one?
Who's in one?
Who's in first?
Well, it's an entirely different cast, right?
Oh, maybe.
No.
You know,
No, they somehow
wait.
got Barbara Hershey. They somehow got
She was
Patrick
available.
Wilson.
Rose Byrne was available.
They somehow got Rose
My
Byrne again.
guess is the first time they made all that money because the actors didn't request a lot of money, and so then now, do you think the actors up their ante, or do you think
Yeah,
they just said?
of course they do.
Well, they
All
just
right.
back-ended
And they
everything.
know they can invest more into it because it's going to make $100 million.
That's
Oh,
good.
this has
Well,
been
good for Barbara
advertised
Hershey.
everywhere. We were just watching the World Cup while we were trying to write these horrible jokes. It didn't go anywhere.
Yes.
They went out into the atmosphere.
And there on the side
Let
of like
them
the
judge.
World Cup thing was
true.
Insidious 2 all around the arena. Yeah, I mean they're advertising the hell out of this one.
Now
Now
we-
they smell money, blood in the water.
Recently, we talked about how important music is in these movie trailers, with Lou Reed's "Perfect Day" appearing in the Your Next trailer. Remember
Oh
that?
yeah. Get out of the house! Ironic music. Run!
Yeah, nothing good is going to happen
I mean, that,
when that starts playing.
irony poured all over that song.
Yeah. But it gets scarier. One huge trend nowadays is creepy kids singing in the trailer. Now, if you remember, they did that in A Nightmare on Elm Street with the 1, 2, 3, and countless others. Now, we brought this up on our old show when The Last Exorcism Part 2 came out, and if you remember how creepy that was in the trailer.
Jesus loves me, this I know. you have to do is accept his love and let him in your heart. And you can't run from him.
He's not talking about Jesus. No.
And he's not talking about his heart.
No. But the Insidious Chapter 2 trailer goes beyond everything, parodying itself and making us feel like we've been out parodying. Because it includes creepy kids singing a wide array of royalty-free hits, including Row, Row, Row Your Boat, Ring Around the Rosie, and even a How Could This Possibly Be Relevant? Tiny Tim's Tiptoe Through the Tulips.
Yes.
Actually, I think they went with the original recording on that.
Let's
Perhaps.
listen.
They did.
Let's listen and
It's
find out.
just as creepy. That's a little creepy.
That is not us doing a bit.
That is not us. That wasn't you.
And then I
messing
think Lee's
around.
right. That was also not creepy kids singing. That was creepy Tiny Tim.
That's Creepy Tiny Tim singing.
Which is a whole different thing. But now, creepy kids singing does seem to be a trend, though, reserved for adult horror films. Yet for kids' movies, they get Randy Newman. I don't know.
You know, creepy kids singing sounds like it should have a 2-album disc on K-Tel.
And I think you are right, because after the last Exorcism Part 2 came out, the whole having creepy kids sing your song thing took off. And lo and behold, Creepy Kids Singing put out their first album, and it shot up the charts on iTunes. Now, here are some of the songs they made creepy, if you remember. Here, listen to some of these creepy songs.
Here comes Peter Cottontail, hopping down the bunny trail. Hippity hoppity, Easter's on its way.
Easter's literally coming to kill me.
I am so scared for the dead rising from the grave on that day.
But they didn't take on just the classics, if you'll recognize this song.
We will never, ever, ever get back together.
I like it. I like that better.
Well, based on the huge popularity of Creepy Kids Sing the Hits, they are proving to be quite prolific, back with a second album within the same year.
K-Tel will be excited.
Indeed. This one's entitled Octon Creepy and takes on a number of the heretofore uncreeped out songs.
Okay.
Let's listen to a few here of the tracks of popular tunes creeped out now.
Whoa, whoa, I'm radioactive.
Imagine Dragons were creepy.
It's so creepy, I didn't even know what it was.
I don't want to go anywhere near that club.
Biggest song of the summer? Is it still the biggest song? If it's creepy.
It's about to be bigger.
Yeah.
This one here.
I hate those blurred lines. You know you want it.
That's so creepy.
It is. Little kid telling me I want it. Creepy.
And you know she has an axe in her hand. That's
I don't
want
want
to
go.
give you.
I don't want to go anywhere near that haunted car that passes me on the street playing that.
Or was this the biggest movie or biggest song of the summer?
We're up all night for good fun. We're up all night to get
Oh my God! I think she just got swallowed into the earth.
Yeah, and this song, of course, from a recent movie we previewed right here.
You don't know you're beautiful. That's what makes you beautiful.
Oh my God.
I like
Sure,
it
I want
better.
to be beautiful.
What
I
is
like
that
it
from?
better.
What is that one?
You know you're One Direction.
One
One
Direction.
Direction.
Oh, is that One
Come
Direction?
It's okay to not know that.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine not knowing what that is.
You know, they're only so normal and everyday. Those guys.
I know, the New Kids Plus time.
Yeah, just like those friends you have who hang out at Central Perk in New York.
Right.
I'll be there for you when the rain starts to fall.
Oh my God.
Chandler, get out of the house. Chandler, get out of the house.
Ross, run! Oh, good Lord.
How you doing?
I don't know why they covered this one, but I guess everyone knows this song.
I'm loving it.
Is that McDonald's?
It is.
I had no idea what that was.
had
That's
no idea.
McDonald's.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
The
I'm
theme
loving
song?
it.
Oh, I'm loving it.
Which should be
A
creepy.
double quarter bounder that will haunt your soul.
In your bowels.
Or at least your lower intestines.
Oh, and then last track I'll play for you here. This was a bonus
Let me know when you're
track.
going there. I'm going to head you off at the pass. Sorry.
Synergy.
Frightening.
Here, the last one. This is a bonus track.
I should have just set it up in that.
Play a little bit here.
You got it.
Da 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 da.
Now, wait, is that the theme song to Star Trek?
No, that was the NBC Nightly News.
I don't think any of us watched the news.
But creepy.
But creepy.
I think we just wrote a new bit.
It's a bonus track.
Name that tune, Creepy Kid Singing.
Name that tune, Creepy Kid.
You know, I
singing.
give Hollywood another month. They'll have another Creepy Kid song in a trailer, and we'll play this again.
Now, I do want to say that the little girl who sings those for us is not a creepy kid. So it's creepy kids singing.
And
singing
No,
is
she's
creepy.
just game
not-
for doing this,
Right?
which is awesome.
No, she was supervised by her father. right?
Well, he's creepy too. So it's perfect.
That's true. The whole clan is creepy. All right, well, that's available, I think, September 24th on iTunes, so be sure to pick that up.
Fantastic.
We're going to take a 10-second break and be right back to preview our second release of the upcoming weekend, The Family, so hang tight.
What is this I'm feeling? If you wanna leave, I'm with it.
All right, and we are back here to help you with your choices at the Cineplex this weekend. So let's get to the new Robert De Niro, Michelle Pfeiffer comedy, The Family. It is the charming story of a family that can't help but kill people in an attempt to solve all its problems. Kind of like the Kennedys, Karen.
If you are absolutely cynical about all things movies and Hollywood, then here's a premise that anybody can buy. Robert De Niro plays a mobster.
I swear we just saw this.
It's a lot of that this week.
But that's where this film takes a right turn and plays on De Niro's image to present a different kind of good fella. A mobster in retirement after entering the witness protection program.
The Family is produced by Martin Scorsese and directed by Luc Besson. The creative team that convinced me basically to watch a 2-hour documentary on umber burning techniques. But if you have them collaborate on a mafia comedy action movie, well, I'll be all over that, like the film by either of those directors. Probably an obvious analogy, really.
De Niro plays Giovanni Manzoni, also known as Fred Blake, also known as Donnie Corleone, also known as Ralph the Mouth, also known as Gary the Bedwetter, also known as Johnny Alias.
Probably the best name.
Yeah. He entered witness protection after turning rat on all his mob buddies, who were about as happy about that as they are about the food at Sparrow.
After bouncing from town to town along with his wife, played by the once again married to the mob Michelle Pfeiffer, who looks like she was recently dumped from Mafia Wives of Orange County, De Niro and family finally settle in France.
Yes, to offer them safety, the witness protection program moves the Italian crime family to France. The country right next door to Italy. Walking distance, people.
Well, to be fair, France is also where director Luc Besson lives. Besson has shot every movie since The Professional in France, either because he owns a movie studio there or there's a sex crime that none of us know about. How old was Mia Jovovich in The Fifth Element, anyway?
Excuse me for a minute, guys. I'd like to point out that we could have gone with Natalie Portman there.
Oh.
But we didn't. So keep that in mind next time you think we've gone too far.
Thank you, Adam.
Tommy Lee Jones once again plays someone haggard and short of temper. This time playing Fred's federal agent, who acts a lot like a talent agent in that he tells Robert De Niro where to go, how to dress, and who to talk to. And whether Jones is yelling at Harrison Ford, Wesley Snipes, or Robert De Niro, despite all his bombast, people really just don't listen to him.
And despite their affinity for fine wine, their secret identity risks getting revealed after the family resorts to its familiar and violent ways of conflict resolution. I know it probably didn't help that their assumed name while hiding in France was the Coneheads. There you go! The Family. Probably going to take a backseat to Insidious at the box office this weekend, right? You think?
Probably so. It's a genre year.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's technically a mob movie, but
Yeah, I mean, I like
in the fall, it's not going to beat out horror.
I'm just giggling at something
We're
else.
just laughing at the fact that Paul has a big, mark on his face from chasing a cricket.
Do I really?
No,
No, are you giggling about the cricket?
no, I'm
gotta-
giggling about something else I was thinking about. Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right.
Do I have a big mark on my
Yeah,
Do you?
it's gone now.
I'm gonna
He's
kill
He's
it.
got a thumbprint. He's been chasing
Cricket
this damn
hunting?
cricket. I swear to God. That cricket could be a mob person checking in on what we're going to say about the family. That's Adam attacking a cricket.
Adam just installed some air conditioning for us.
Yes. Does Mark Maron have this trouble?
Does that sound better?
Maybe I don't listen to enough episodes, but I want to hear the one where he has to kill a cricket.
All right. Now, Paul, are we allowed to say that we saw this movie?
Oh, you saw it?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
not
there's a
sworn to
whole
secrecy.
segment later, but yeah, sure.
Oh, shit. I didn't read the script.
What did you see this week?
Welcome to the show,
club.
Karen.
Rewind. Rewind.
You can
Hey,
say
did
whatever.
you kill a cricket? No, I'll just wait. They'll give me something to say later.
Well, the conversation point I had
Yes.
on this, because Paul and I have discussed this before, is Luc Besson came out of the gates, right? La Femme Nikita, The Professional, Fifth Element, and then he stopped directing, and he started his studio, and then he just started producing. And he didn't direct a movie for 15 years. But in the meantime, he had produced and written The Transporter 1, 2, and 3, Unleashed, Kiss of the Dragon, like cool Taken.
Yeah.
Oh, I liked that.
Yeah,
I did
cool
see that.
action movies. But then when he went back to directing, he directed Arthur and the Minimoys.
Arthur and the Invisibles?
Arthur and the Invisible with Minimoys in France.
Is that what it is?
Oh, my God.
Le
Mr. Les
Minimoys.
Miserables over here.
Okay.
Minimoys.
Minimoys. I don't know what the Invisibles are even.
No.
Okay.
I don't know.
And then he directed Angel A.
Yeah.
It's the first time anybody in this room has heard of that movie?
Are you the one that
That's not
called it
fair.
Pret-a-Porter?
I've never heard of anything.
Pret-a-Porter? Yes.
You're
I
the one that
am.
called it Pret-a-Porter?
Wait.
Because that was its
Pret-a-Porter.
working title for a long time.
Was it Lyle Lovett in that?
Ready to wear?
Sure was.
Pret-a-Porter with Lyle Lovett.
We've
and a
been
bunch of
derailed
other people.
with Lyle Lovett again.
I'm just telling you, I like something you're saying.
Sure.
That was
sure.
my fault. I had no idea Lyle was in that
Sure.
movie when I made that
you,
reference.
You can fit Lyle Lovett into this conversation.
And I will. You'll see. Birthdays are coming up.
Point is, will Luc Besson bring it again? That's the question, right?
Sure.
Has he ever not
Exactly.
brung it?
Yeah.
That's-
Arthur and the Minimoys.
Was that?
Where were you for the last 5
And
hours?
what I
But I didn't know that was his fault. I thought that
yeah.
was.
No, that's his. It's like a 3D animated thing that he directed. Like after not doing movies for like that long. Anyway, what I have decided, I have taken a page out of Stephen Lewis's book. My roommate,
Yes.
my former roommate of many years, who used to just give movies to other directors because, and the logic that started, I think, was From Hell. He's like, is there any universe in which Tim Burton didn't direct that movie? I mean, who the hell are the Hudlin brothers? I don't need to give them shit.
The Hughes brothers.
The Hughes brothers.
Yeah.
Sorry, the Hughes brothers. Yeah.
So maybe
Hudlin.
he was incognito as a different.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so I've decided that Transporter and all those, I couldn't name who directed those. I think the Hulk guy that did the second version
Louis
of the Hulk.
Leterrier,
Yeah, I
yes.
think he did one of those. I think he did.
He sounds French, too.
Transporter. But I'm just giving them all to Besson.
Yeah, might as
I mean,
well.
they're Besson movies.
They are.
He's like a showrunner. You know what? The showrunner doesn't direct all the shows, but he executes it. He makes the storyboards, all that stuff, and then he just goes, just go make it. I'm going to be over here. I'm going to be over here having sex with a supermodel because that's what Besson actually does.
Does Vince Gilligan direct every episode of Breaking Bad? No.
No.
But he's the guy.
He's the
when
guy.
you talk about how great that show is.
So anyway,
Point well made.
that's my thought on Besson. I'm going to go beat the shit out of
Never mind the damn credit. Stupid cricket.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, so we'll talk about this
Fantastic,
more
yes.
later, obviously, in a
Good.
bit of what did you see
Now
this
that
week.
I
Yeah, that's
have
cool. You've seen it because I'm
Something to
excited.
look forward to, Karen.
But we have to admit the family sounded very familiar to us.
Oh, yes.
We couldn't put our finger on where we knew it from. So we did some research and found out that it has some secrets. Turns out that the family is actually another movie in disguise.
Uh-oh.
What?
And the reason we found this out was because of our next guest, a surprise guest we didn't announce at the top of the show. He's the proprietor of the website CineLeaks and claims to have 200,000 pages of secrets that Hollywood wishes he didn't have. Welcome to the show.
Paul, you know, I'm taking an awful risk here, revealing myself in public in your radio showcast. I thought you said that I would have my voice modulated.
I'm sorry. Yes, let me just turn that on. There we go.
Thanks, Paul. There are a lot of people out there that want to see me dead.
Oh, really? And the modulation is good, though?
Hello. Do I sound like a woman?
No, you sound very resonant.
Well, it's much better. Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you.
I should mention the name of my guest. We are joined by none other than Stephen Covert.
Oh, I knew you'd make that mistake. That's Covert.
Oh, Stephen Covert.
Not my real name, of course.
No. What is your real name?
Rich Tumulkian. God, shit! You can bleep that,
Oh,
can't
sure.
you?
Bleep. There we go. I think it's good as new. I may have just said bleep
I think you
instead of
bleeped
actually.
yourself agreeing to bleep it. I do believe that you did that.
Apologies.
Well, I hope so, because getting to Los Angeles required a series of scrambled telephone calls, a litany of false airplane reservations to throw off anybody who might be following me and using a mode of transportation in L.A. that not everyone knows about.
Oh, mysterious. What's that?
The Metro subway system.
Okay, now
It's
listen.
underground.
Thank you. Where there are earthquakes.
That's where the earthquake happened.
Now, why is Hollywood after you, Mr.
It has
Colbert?
to be an earthquake in the ground. It's not an airquake.
You bring logic to the show, Mr. Colbert.
She's very wise.
she is. Yeah.
Thank you for jumping in, Karen.
Did you had a question for me?
Oh, I was wondering why Hollywood is after you.
Oh, well, because obviously I know too much.
Too much.
Too much, far too much. I don't belong here in the land of people that don't know much. The secrets I've uncovered could shake the very walls of the entertainment industry and reduce it to a shadow of its former self.
Wow.
An airquake, if you would.
A veritable earthquake of secrets could erupt. Well, what would we recognize that change?
All right, okay. It might be a shade shadowier than it is now. Paul, I don't have long. They're on to me. Well, all right. What is it that you'd like to know?
What? I think we were just talking about this. What secret is the movie The Family hiding?
Paul, fellas, lady fella, what I'm about to reveal, well, you could get us all killed or worse. Cast us in the next sci-fi shark mashup movie.
That would be bad. Really?
Yes, really.
I don't know if I want to hear this, quite
Well,
frankly.
I'm sorry. The cat's already out of the bag. The toothpaste is out of the tube. Katie barred the door. The HIA. The HIA.
Yeah, wait, what is that?
Oh, good. You took the bait.
Bait taker.
Bait taker. You're a fish. The HIA, the Hollywood Intelligence Agency, has gone crazy. They have crazy ways of revenge. Let's just say that Tara Reid won't be taking... Let's just say that Tara Reid won't be talking anymore.
Oh. What did you uncover about The Family?
Paul, The Family is really, secretly just My Blue Heaven with an action climax. It is.
How could I not have seen this?
Right.
Scoop right
No,
here on the
boys,
You are right.
girl boy. I've said too much already. If they find out I've talked, they'll tent pole me.
Well, that sounds cruel and unusual. What exactly is that?
They put you in a ping pong ball suit and let you take direction from Peter Berg for days.
God.
I hope you don't have children watching this.
We do, because
Not anymore.
Insidious 2 is a children's movie. Now you say...
I know what the SI stands for.
Wow.
But no, so secrets like that, you say you have 200,000 pages of them.
Pages, single-spaced pages. Yes, and if I'm killed or harmed in any way, the documents will go public. What was that?
Complete silence?
Cricket.
I thought I was in a test audience for the internship. Another CINA leaker of mine got caught and they put him through that. He was never the same.
Good Lord. Well, you must understand, this is a big scoop for us.
Mhm.
I mean, you've got to give us another classified secret from the depths of Hollywood.
I don't have to do anything, Paul.
Well, I would ask nicely then.
All right. I'm about to tell you. Well, what I'm about to tell you will take down the biggest movie of all time.
No. Not.
Make me work for it.
Not.
Keep going.
God.
Avatar.
I can breathe.
Well, what could Avatar be hiding?
Avatar is not the movie you think it is. It's a lie.
A fabrication?
A falsehood, an untruth. Avatar is actually, listen to this. Are you sitting down?
Yeah.
We all are.
Avatar is actually Dances with Wolves, but in space. Think about it. It was under your nose the entire time.
I like Dances with Wolves.
He is blowing my mind.
Oh, good God, I've said too much. I could subject us all to being waterworlded at the hands of Hollywood's nastiest interrogators.
Is that what I think it is?
Yes, they make you watch Waterworld with an ant who doesn't understand what the hell is going on. Look, I'm looking at my watch.
Yes.
I'm indicating. I don't have time to explain. I have to go.
Oh, no.
They could be listening in right now.
So this is like a knock list for movies, like undercover movies?
I'm pulling the schnoz glasses off of movies and hiding, Paul. Or Adam. Did you know that Elysium is just Johnny Mnemonic in Mexico?
I knew there was something about that movie. It's like it was almost, something else.
Yes, Johnny Mnemonic. What did I just say?
Oh, yeah, well, yeah.
It's Johnny Mnemonic with a trucker hat. Now the world knows.
Wow.
Big news.
So are you a hero or a villain for leaking this information?
Well, some to some and some to others. Paul, I ask you, do you feel better going through life as a fan of Tropic Thunder, or do you feel better knowing that Tropic Thunder is just three amigos in blackface?
Oh, it is.
I love
know.
both of those
You're right.
movies.
I'm sorry.
But is bringing the truth to the world worth the personal toll it's taking on you?
Paul, it's tough. I'm always looking over my shoulder, looking under my shoulder, looking around my shoulder.
My God, you have
At
big
night,
shoulders.
I feel like I'm living two lives, my life and somebody else's life. Like Hannah Montana, which is really just Fight Club with a Radio Disney soundtrack. I've said too much, guys. I've said too much.
God.
Hold me back from saying any more. I'll have to
Restrain him.
But I gotta hear more. I
It's
gotta
a
hear
girl.
more.
Her
All right,
skirt's in a tizzy.
No. I'll have to go into the witness protection myself, or worse, Tyler Perry's Medea's witness protection.
Oh,
Wait.
No, fellas, no, and girl fella, no. No more. I'm just lucky that nobody's seen my face.
Oh, Paul.
Well, we were recording with video the whole time. Guess
Yeah.
I should have mentioned that.
We're on YouTube.
Shit.
So, what was Rocky for?
Take out a pen and a piece of paper.
Yeah.
It's Rocky 3 plus 1.
Oh.
And that's not even a secret.
Oh.
All right, Stephen Colbert, everybody, founder of Cine Leaks. Look for him in our neighborhood for the next half hour or so. Heading south for the hour after that. I think he lives.
Stop
I've given away too much. I'm sorry. I will be right back, everybody. Stephen Colbert.
Brave man. Brave man.
She's a woman.
True patriot.
And we are back and joined by our special guest for the remainder of the show. He is an improviser playing the biggest comedy festivals all over the country and host of the ADD Comedy Podcast. And you may know him from one of his more recent roles as Stephen Colbert.
Oh,
Dave Razowsky is here, everybody.
Gotten a lot of work out of that, Paul.
Yes. Put that on your reel. So there you go.
Right?
Congratulations. So, Dave, you are, can we call you an improv guru? Or
That's
no?
not for me to say.
Maven,
Although
maybe?
I do have it on my what is it? A bio. Where somebody once said it's like I'll put that down there.
Yeah, you should put that on your business
How
card.
long have you been improvising?
1980.
Don't make us do math.
I'll do the math
Okay.
for you. 1984.
Wow.
84, 85. So, oh my God, I'm going on 30
Was
years.
that in Chicago, or was
Wow.
that something you did before?
My first gig was I was on the road for a year doing non-comedic improvisation in prisons across the United States.
Wait, time out. Back
Shut up.
Back up.
Isn't that cool?
Non-comedic.
Non-comedic
That's so
mask
cool.
work improvisation. My first gig
like-
was at Joliet Correctional Center.
Oh my God, you and Elwood.
Right?
Holy cow.
What is
Right?
non-comedic improv?
It's about it's rehab. It's like rehabilitational educational. So it's teaching people about
School. It's called school.
visits, how important visits are,
Oh, okay.
and how important not to become institutionalized. Because when you're in there, you're like, oh, this little world that we live in. But to know that there's another world out there, and keep reading and keep writing to your family.
You'll
keep
never see
connecting.
it, but it's out there.
Yeah, no, a lot of these people, it's really interesting because you also have to deal with learning about their lives, and their lives are just such awfulness, such unbelievable awfulness.
How did they respond to you?
They,
The
and I
improv.
thought when I was 25, and I was thinking, here's a big-nosed Jewish guy with long hair. I had long hair at the time, and it's like, why did they give a shit about me?
Damn
You know what I
hippie.
mean? And what ended up happening was because we learned so much about them and we improvised with knowledge of them, they really connected to us. They really, really, really connected to us, and I felt I would walk out of there just going, I love my life. It really changes the way that you look at. It changes the way that you look at everything.
Did you ever have direct contact with someone after?
Always
they may
have direct
ret-
contact. Oh, you
but I mean,
always
after
have.
they left the prison?
Oh, no.
You saw a guy in the street like,
no, you don't want to have any contact with them.
Yeah, you don't want him to show up and go, "Hey, you know that thing you said about me and my sister?" And you're like, "Oh."
No, but those guys loved us being there, and you got to also remember, I'm going to say 90% of those guys have never ever seen a play. They've never seen a play, and they certainly have never seen improvisation, where you're using language that they use. You have information. It's like I'm being in the Second City Touring Company and going to a city, a smaller city like Akron, or and you learn about who's the mayor, or learn about all these little things, so you can throw in references throughout the show, sort of like what you do here. But the more you know about what it is that they know, the more connected you are with them. And it's a lot like Commedia dell'arte, where you're going to these different towns and you're playing standard stock characters. But we played maximum joints, minimum joints. We played women's, men's.
Maximum
It was
joint.
a tour. It's all.
Yeah.
Did you say? Ask was
Is it a tour?
It's
Yeah.
a tour.
Wow.
It's a tour. We lived on a 51-foot 1963 International Harvester school bus.
All right,
I
that's
drove.
That is cool.
I drove.
That was
I
the
drove
maximum
one
joint.
year. I drove 20,000 miles on the bus, and we would go in and we'd have to take out everything from this bus, and we lived on that bus. And they would open up drawers and they would count screws and they would do all that, because if you left anything in there, it could be used as a weapon. And so it would take us 3 hours to load in. We would set up. It took us 2 hours to set up. We'd do a show for an hour, and then we'd have to get out, and they would have to do all that. They would have to count all that shit out too, and then we'd get back in the school bus and go to a truck stop or a national park and a state park, and that's where we lived and made food and learned slack rope walking and juggling and
Kind of bohemian.
theater.
Yeah, it's
it was an awesome experience.
It's a
But
little
you know
Renaissance fair. Right
10 months of that, and you want 10 months of that, and you're done.
Yeah.
Because again, these people's lives are horrible,
months.
and you're
1 month for me.
well,
Probably 1 month, I'd be done. But I'm just saying, if I had to live in a park.
and there are a few people that we know. Sean Landry.
Yeah.
Sean was in the company.
Get out of here. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
Sean.
cool.
That's how I know Sean. She was in the company.
Oh, that's cool.
But it was, it's if you want to be famous, that's not the way to do it.
No, we've had some of those jobs.
No,
Right.
we did a
Won't be
job
famous.
for the Crittenden Center out here.
That was
which
really
was,
fun.
a home for, it was a center for girls who had gotten pregnant in high school to make sure they finished their education.
Nice.
But they, of course, weren't pregnant because, yay! So
Yeah.
we had to have a whole background check to go in and deal with these sort of fractured people who were
Right.
dealing with a horrible
And
situation.
then we were just teaching them that what they had to say counted. That was really what our improvisation was about. The fact that they were always trying to be cool, and that's the one thing you can't be if you're going to be an improviser. You have to just be honest and not afraid to say what you're really thinking, even if it's goofy. And that was the one thing, is when we would do the different exercises with them, we would try to get them to really love each other's ideas, and they started to bond with each other because they're accepting these goofy little things that they say in a game that aren't all that important in the big scheme of things, but the fact that other people accepted it without making fun of them was really cool.
That's a huge thing. I mean, certainly we did that in prison too.
Yeah.
Because you've got to keep up your guard. I mean, your guard is there all the time.
Or you might get killed.
Or you might get killed,
Yeah.
but it's one of those things that if anybody sees you as weak, you might get killed, and if anybody sees you as overly strong, you might get killed, and if somebody sees you as saying the wrong thing, you might get killed. Like you would literally might get killed.
You don't say yes and. You could get killed.
Right, exactly. And you don't say
Ask
yes, but
questions.
you might get
Yeah.
killed.
You
You
might
say
get
no,
killed.
and you might get killed. I did
Don't
see,
deny, motherfucker.
I did see a celebrity there. I did see.
He's gone into story, man.
What's the guy that killed all the nurses in Chicago?
Oh,
Jesus.
Richard Speck?
Richard Speck. I saw Richard Speck.
Why do I have such a
Speck.
catalog of
That's
killers?
That's a good one.
And
Richard
that was
Speck.
quick, Adam.
That was quick,
fast.
wasn't it?
I
my
kept
God.
thinking, I'm almost there. I'm almost there. I'm almost there. You got it. Thank
Guy
you
who
so
dressed
much.
like a clown.
My sister, however, she hears this, will be very proud of me.
Right. Hopefully she wasn't a nurse.
Right?
Right. So that's that. What is that?
Wow.
That?
So
How
you
did I get that?
you,
how you
you did
started.
improv with Richard Speck?
No, I didn't.
I mean, you were
saw
writing a
him.
screenplay.
Like, I'm walking down a hallway. And somebody and the guys that were with us, taking us through, they said, right down the hallway, coming at us is Richard Speck. And as he's coming closer, I'm going, how many people get to see Richard Speck?
yeah.
And then,
Can I get a
Get
suggestion?
to leave.
Oh man.
Yeah,
It's
a
it's
lot of people have
crazy.
seen him, just not to live to tell about
It's
it.
kind of interesting when you think about it. When you think there was a guy named Richard Speck and he was alive, And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they put him away. There's a guy named Dahmer, and there's a guy named John Wayne Gacy. Like all
really
these guys,
existed.
there are really, and I think that people don't see that they really existed.
That is the fascinating thing about true crime, and I kind of got into it in high school. It's a funny connection between me and my sister. There's a book called Blood Letters and Bad Men, and it's just every killer. And you just go through it and it's all these pictures, and it's just so fascinating. And then one day I caught her with the same book, and I was like, "Oh, we are so alike." And she had no idea that I had read the same book. Anyway.
It's like Dexter.
Yeah. So then, how do you find out about Second City? How do you end up there?
Because I'm from
Who was on
Chicago,
stage
and
the
so
first time?
I was. So I grew up in Chicago, so I saw all those
okay.
guys.
He couldn't help
I saw
but know.
Shelley Long, George Wendt, Jim Belushi,
Bonnie Hunt.
Bonnie Hunt was just an era before me.
Oh, okay.
Actually, so Bonnie was before me. But you had Lance Kinsey, you had Tim Kazurinsky. Who else? Mary Gross, who was on Saturday Night Live, right?
And I will say, Tim Kazurinsky, friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
This a man who sends us a Christmas card, so I can say friend of the show.
He is such a good guy.
Yeah, he is.
And you know he's not from this country.
Oh, really?
Shut up! That must be what it is.
I think
he Canadian?
He's Australian.
Oh well, Australians are awesome.
Tim
Isn't that crazy?
Kazurinsky's Australian?
He's
That
Australian.
explains
He's
it.
either an Aussie or a Kiwi, and I don't want
Wow.
to get those two wrong, but he's one of the other.
That's
No, we're
cool.
rugby people. Will have your head.
I know,
There's
right?
a big difference in the
It
rugby
takes
field.
leather balls to play rugby, you guys.
There you go.
College.
Write that down. Write that down.
Yeah, that was my NIU experience. I went to Northern Illinois University, and I lived with all these rugby players. Oh, that's a bunch.
Yeah, and we worked on a cruise ship, and they would have the rugby game between Australia and New Zealand sent to the ship, and they'd all gather in the crew mess and just yell.
That's crazy.
And they would
lot.
sing these songs. It was like, no,
Yeah.
no, no, no. Oi, oi,
Yeah,
oi,
screaming
oi.
and chanting at the screen.
Yeah.
It was
Right.
awesome. They were
And
great.
who knew Tim Kazurinsky riding that moped in Police Academy is one of them.
Yeah. Did you guys did the tour boats?
We did Disney, yeah. Or,
You did Disney.
We did Disney for two contracts with the Brave New Workshop.
Right. That's because I knew that
Yeah,
those
we didn't
guys
do
did it.
Second City.
Right.
We did Disney.
Right.
Or we did Brave New Workshop.
Yeah, now Second City was
That was before
Norwegian.
Second
Oh my
City.
God,
That
so
was
many,
before
so
it,
many
yeah.
of those. I would rather. For me, I always think about if you're on a tour boat, you're not on a boat. You're on an island.
Yeah.
Because you cannot get to anything or go anywhere. Did you guys save money?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we
Paid off bills.
Paid
Oh,
off
that's
bills.
really,
we were
really good.
together. That was crazy
Right.
too. And
Did you have a nice room?
they gave us two separate rooms, which was great because it was like college. You would go, you'd knock on the door, do your thing,
Were you
leave.
married?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But it's Disney, so we
Right.
still
Oh,
had
right,
privacy.
right,
But we
right,
had
right.
single
Sock on the door
rooms.
handle, that whole
Yeah,
thing.
Right.
it was cool.
Oh.
So then I could be like, see ya, and I go back to my room, take a shower, and have a nice stretch.
Right.
Wash it off, you.
But
Wait,
you
you said you had...
Did you have single beds or did you have?
He had a little bit bigger bed, so we'd go to his room.
I see.
Because
wish I'd
he's
done
6'3".
this.
That was the show captain. Charge of scheduling.
It was a
got bigger
great.
bed.
Here's something. You're an improv teacher. You'll appreciate this. It was so amazing to do improvisation. We did it 6 days, and you get a day off. And they always say, no matter what, when you're in theater, the show must go on. And that's easy to do in theater because it's written, and you're able to find little points to get you through the scenes. But we were doing improvisation. So we had structures of what the games and the interaction was going to be, but then we'd have to make up the funny each night.
Oy.
And shut up, my dad passed away unexpectedly 2 weeks into my contract. So here I am doing comedy, and then I find out my dad passed away. No idea it was going to happen. So they were very cool, and they gave me 2 weeks to go home. But after 2 weeks, I had to go back to work and figure out how to be funny every night. And it taught me that if you just follow the tenets of improvisation and you listen and you just are open,
Be in the moment and
you can do it.
bring your own stuff. Don't bring your stuff in.
And
It was amazing.
I
It
just
really
listened to Dave's
taught me a lot.
podcast, but of course I listened to Kevin Dorff and Mick Napier today, and I don't know which one was the story in, but did you know, for anybody in the audience, there was a very famous Second City show called Citizen Gate, not Citizen Gate, Paradigm Lost. Right? And I guess Kevin Dorff lost his dad right in the middle of putting that show together, and had to do when there was a scene where he.
He had it was a scene about suicide and about death, and it was also a scene about a father and a son. It was all that stuff.
Yeah,
and the great thing
it's
about
an amazing story.
Yeah, and it's really an amazing story. But Mick brings that out in people. But all these things happen, and you want to use them. You want to use this material because if you don't use this material, what are you going to use? You know what I mean? What are you going to use?
You make up things and it'll look false in the end product.
Exactly, and nobody gets, and you don't get a voice. You don't have a voice.
That's an essential lesson of improv, right?
Well, it's an essential lesson of anything,
Or of
right?
life, yeah.
Because everybody, well, I don't work for a corporation. I don't know how people do it. I just don't know how people do it. My girlfriend works for a corporation, and I feel like how do you do that?
You have to turn
come to
something
work.
off in your brain, I
But
think.
you also turn on the idea that you're getting a paycheck, you're getting a 401k or whatever, 503c59.
You're going to have somewhere to live when you retire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she gets, like, someone was just hired that she helped bring into the corporation, and she's getting a $5,000 bonus if this guy sticks around for 3 months, which he will.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not like, hey, you know what, UCB, I'm going to recommend somebody to come to you, and you're going to give me what? Nothing.
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 You
The
really
finger.
have to love it. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to love it,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to love it. And she, for me, our lives are, I'm sure that those people go, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. How do you do it? I got to have a paycheck. It's like, great, there's your trade-off.
Mm-hmm.
My sister told me years ago when I was young, she said, what would you rather have, security or freedom? And that's like, I think all artists choose freedom. And of course, they hope that leads around to security, but you got to choose freedom.
Before we were rolling, Dave and I were in our lovely green room, and we were talking about this exact same thing and the fact that was the choice in the mid-'90s when she talked to you. But there's no security now. I don't care how amazing your job is. There are wonderful places like WAMU Bank. Who would think that if you're working for WAMU Bank, all of a sudden you wouldn't have a job?
Right.
But
all those,
that happens now.
Right. All those corporations, you don't know what's going to happen. But there's also the idea of like doing your show. You have a script here. I'm sorry.
No,
folks.
we don't.
Shh, quiet.
You have a script that describes what I do. And you have a script here, and you think that script is going to be read. Well, you know better. But but people go, well, there's
At
a
least
script
it's
that it could only.
an idea. Of
Well,
where
it's an
going.
idea,
Somebody
but you
might
think
add
that
a
it's
whole-
going.
Yeah, go
Someone's going to add something to it. You don't know the
earthquake
nuance
joke.
of it. You don't know if there's going to be crickets in the middle of it. You don't know any of those things. Crickets. So you don't know any of those things, and you think that you know what the hell's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know. You think you know what's going to happen today. You don't know. So celebrate the fact that you don't know, as opposed to making it something that scares you. Because I think that a lot of people are scared because of that. But then again, I don't have any kids. I don't have a mortgage. I don't have those. I don't have a car payment. I don't have any of those things that other people do. How come you talk so much?
Because I'm the guy that has that job in the paycheck and gave up his freedom and has security.
Do you really? Is that you?
He's
Yeah,
smart.
that's
He
pretty
actually
much, yeah.
got Adam a job and got a bonus.
I got the $5,000 for Adam.
I
yeah.
got him.
What was the job? Where do you work?
$5,000.
Well, Adam and I both work in advertising at an ad agency, and I got him a job as an editor, and I got that check that you're talking
That's
about.
great.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. And for me, I don't know that you work there. You know what I mean? I don't know that you guys work there. So I watch, and I'm like, you're an artist just like I am. So the question of what do you want? Security or freedom? I think that you have both.
Well,
Not
I'm going
you.
to take you back to, because Paul had said that his sister asked him, what do you want, security or freedom?
Right.
And I've told the story to the people in the room before, but my very first acting class I ever took was in San Diego. I was living in San Diego. And the very first thing the acting instructor said to the class was, alrighty, class, if you want to be an actor, you have to decide right now how poor you're willing to be. And I remember thinking, I should leave now because I don't do well. I don't do well poor.
Is that okay for you that he said that?
Yeah, because I think there's a certain. I think what they were alluding to is that there is a sacrifice and a quality of life that you're going to have to forego for a certain period of time.
Is this news? You know what I mean? Does
Well,
anybody
I was
go?
22.
I understand that, but I think there's a lot of people who doesn't know that actors don't make money.
Well, I don't know if people. I think people have a very fantasized, romanticized idea of what their career is going to be like.
I understand, but that could go for anybody, right? Anybody. You can have a romanticized, of whatever it's going to be. For me, I hear that statement, and it causes my blood pressure to go up. only because. But not just that.
Or as a
As
guy,
an
yeah.
artist, as a human being, because it's like, how dare you do that to somebody? Because for me, there's a difference of saying that, like, not how poor do you want to be. Do you understand that?
How poor are you willing to be for how
poor are
long?
you willing
And I
to be?
was like,
But you know what? That's
6
that-
months?
How
Can
many
we do it in
people,
6 months?
How many people is that shutting out? How many people is that shutting out?
Yeah.
As opposed to the idea of, this is a tough life. You can make it. But I look at I hear that and I know that it wasn't you, and I hope that you're not taking it in a way that's not
Stuck
giving.
with it for a
I got a
while,
job.
so-
But yeah, right. But there's also
I
the
have the
feeling of-
401k. I'm fine.
Right, but I think there's a lot of people, that you're a teacher for God's sake, man. You're not you, but
Yeah.
that guy's a teacher.
Yeah.
He's a guide. He's a seer. He's all these things. And the first thing that he says out of his mouth is, how poor do you want to be? Because I look at it and I go, the money has nothing to do with it.
How rich is your life going to be?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Gary Austin, who's the guy that started the Groundlings, and he's a friend of mine. And Gary said a couple of years ago, somebody came up to him and said, Gary, you are wealthy. You are so wealthy. And he's like, what do you mean? It's like you have riches beyond money. And he said, you know what? I never really thought about that. And I know that's sort of pie in the sky stuff too. But at the end of the day, I know that you have this, and you probably have other things that give you.
This is it.
You know what I mean? But in advertising, there's
But we
also a certain
suck up
amount.
your
I
time.
don't know what you're doing in advertising, but there's a certain amount of creativity in that as well. But,
Absolutely nothing creative in advertising. But no, this is
He's done stand up. He does all kinds of
right.
But this is what
We
I've
wrote half the
dedicated.
script we read.
Yeah, this is what I've dedicated my creative effort
Right,
to, and it's more
right.
than enough to keep me
I love
from
it.
putting a sharp
I
blade
love
to my
it.
temple.
But when I hear people talk like that, it makes me go because I see my students and I don't ever think about the money. I don't ever think about what kind of money they're going to make. I'm not there. That's not my responsibility. My responsibility is for me to be the midwife to their voice. For me to say to them, "Do you know how great you are? Do you know how awesome you are?
That's
Do you
why
know the
you're like
universe?"
Martin.
What's that?
It's why you're like Martin.
But Martin
Or
was way
DeMott,
ahead of
I'm
his
getting
time.
that vibe.
He was.
You know,
I am too.
it's like Martin
I love
was
it.
ahead of that. He was ahead of that. But Martin taught me and Amy Seeley and all these other teachers, Mike Ross, and all these other teachers that we're now spreading that stuff all over the place. But it's not just us. It's also, what's her name? Marianne Williamson. Is that her name?
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's her statement. Her statement is, you're not put on this earth. I'm paraphrasing it. You're not put on this earth to think that you're no good. You're here, and it's we're not afraid. What we're afraid of is how awesome we are.
Yeah.
That's what we're
That's
afraid
what
We're
of.
afraid we have power beyond our beyond.
That's the
Clearly.
Aquila and the
Beyond
Bee
everything.
quote, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh,
I
you're
mean, that
going-
quote's in
You're
Aquila
taking
and
it
the
back
Bee.
to movies. Good for you.
No. but
wrote that.
But that's an interesting thing, and I don't think we've gone. You mentioned it earlier. I don't think we've gone off topic from it at all because I want to bring it back to something you said earlier about that when you step forward fearlessly.
Right.
I mean, to bring that back to improv, the reason I've kind of become re-obsessed with improv, and I go watch all my friends who are really, really good at improv, Craig Gakowski and Delicious Moments and 313
Right.
and all those
Right.
people. It's that stepping forward into the. Well, I guess didn't Marty do the thing that it was the hokey pokey, right?
Right.
Yep.
You
have to
step
put your whole
forward.
self
You have to
in.
put your whole self in
Right.
And shake it
do
all
a dance that you don't that nobody knows the dance.
Nobody
Right.
knows how to do the dance.
Nobody knows how to do the dance,
Just
and you
shake
all
it.
do it together.
That's
right?
what it's all
Apparently,
about.
now the
But
dancing is twerking. Martin would have liked that.
Twerking.
But that not knowing what the next second is the most valuable gift you can give yourself in life in a weird way. Like
Because
to be able to
in not knowing what the next second is, you're more in the moment than you ever will be, and that's the irony of it.
Yeah.
You go, I don't know what the next second is, which puts you into this second so much. You're in this second right now, and I don't know what's going to happen, and that's why everybody loves the movies. Because the movies aren't about, it's not, what Hitchcock said, it's not about the gun going off, it's about the tension before the gun goes off.
Yeah.
Like that feeling of like, right now I am feeling something
Right
in
now.
this moment,
Present.
at this moment, presently here. And all
And
this
that's
other
being
stuff,
alive.
it's like the gun goes off and you're done. You're done. You're
And there's
done.
something about the idea of doing that in the dark with a bunch of other people you don't know.
Right.
Because I've been going to these free screenings and I go by myself, so I sit in the room full of people I don't know and we're watching the movie. And there was just something really cool that happened during one of them. I hadn't talked to the people around me. I brought a book. And at one moment, we all were cheering
Right.
about something that was happening, but it was just so visceral. 'cause
What's
we did it
interesting, though,
together.
is we're never alone.
No.
We're never, ever alone.
Exactly.
And especially now with people spying on us, but that's a different story. But we're never alone in that. What you're feeling, I'm feeling. What
Mm-hmm.
you're seeing, I'm seeing. You're in line at Trader Joe's wanting to get food. That's all you want to do is get through that line. That's what I want to do, too. You know what I mean? Like all that stuff.
But you do it so much more funny than everybody else.
That's true.
You get through that line in a hilarious way.
Did you see what he did? He brought his own bag. That's hilarious.
Hey, guy with tattoo and handlebar mustache, you're a clerk.
So then I'm curious to know what your favorite movie. We ask this of every guest. Your favorite movie of all time.
Oh my God, the movie that would come on. That you go.
Okay,
I'm in for 2 hours.
Yeah, that's the type of movie.
We
like,
have
I'm
this.
there.
We have this discussion. You can have your favorite movie,
right,
or the movie that you will watch no matter
Comfort
what.
food.
Yeah.
You can have your favorite movie or the movie that you'll watch.
Because they don't necessarily have to
I mean,
be the
they're
same.
we're just saying different types of favorite movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's comfort food,
You know,
and then there's your like.
I think for me, I always bristle at the question, "What's your favorite anything?"
Yeah.
I think that it's a. And I know that, I mean, the moment that you say that, I know exactly the movie. For me, I know what the movie is. But it's that bad, improv suggestion thing. Where it's like, what's your favorite food? And it's like, my feeling is, the question at this moment is, if you can eat any food right now,
Look,
what
Dave,
would it be?
Dave, if you don't want to tell us your favorite movie.
No, I'm going to. I'm going to.
That's okay.
All right. But I was about to say it, and you threw this other thing in there, and I'll go for that too. It's so ridiculous. It's so awesome. I love it so much. It's the first Casino Royale.
Oh.
The one that was directed by 5 different directors. John Huston. It was the only
potpourri of directors.
Oh my God,
It's
5
kind of
different directors.
Wow.
And do you know anything about this movie?
No.
Oh my God, Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass did the music with Burt Bacharach. It's The Look of Love.
Oh, yeah.
Burt Bacharach, Hal David. The music is awesome. It is such a sexy. Now
put it on my list.
So these are the so it's a 007. They have a bunch of different 007s. The idea is throw Smirsh off or whatever with all these different 007s. So the 007s are Peter Sellers.
Okay.
He's a 007. William Holden is in it. David Niven is in it. George Raft is in it. And the guy that's in charge, the evil henchman. Oh, here's another one. No one. Orson Welles is in it.
Yes.
It's like the Muppet movie.
Yeah, he plays back.
It's like you're expecting them to go across the world, right?
Yeah, and
it's
it's
a
great.
movie.
So the main evil villain of this movie is Woody Allen.
Yes. One of the
my
great
God.
monologues in the
love
history
that.
of cinema from him in that movie.
Right. He's hiccuping, and if he hiccups 100 times, he explodes, and the
In a
world
row or
explodes.
cumulative?
In a row.
Okay, so.
In a row. It's all hiccups. And I poured something in your drink, and I put it in your drink, and you drank it. And it's like, whoa. And it is such a sexy movie. It was a boner-inducing movie for 9-year-old Dave
It is
Razowsky.
such a 60s movie,
Oh
right?
my
Those
God.
What's
it's
it
right
called?
Deborah
movies.
Kerr is in it.
Casino
Deborah Kerr
Royale.
plays Deborah Kerr is sexy in this movie.
And Woody Allen, I mean, go to YouTube and type in Woody Allen Casino Royale just to see his monologue when he reveals himself as the villain. It is brilliant. It is amazing. It is classic Woody Allen. And the greatest line from it is, she says, "You're insane." He's like, they called Einstein insane. No, they didn't. Well, they would have if he'd gone on like this.
So I would just like to recommend that, go to YouTube, but do not go to YouTube and look up 9-year-old boner. Because that will not get you to the movie that you want to see.
If you want to hear it,
Get you arrested.
I would go Spotify for 9-year-old boner. It's a great group out of Seattle. It's a
Oh,
grunge band. 9-year-old boner is a really.
It's
good
actually a
grunge band.
9-year-old boner. It's
Right.
a 9
Oh my God.
boner for 9 years.
Yeah, it's one of those like
Going on
definitely.
from
If you have a 9-year-old boner, see your
doctor.
doctor. You're probably 8 years.
I had a 4-year-old boner. It was called high school.
Right.
Thank you.
Nice. See?
See, he doesn't
He
just
thinks he's a
count
dull office monkey. No dull office monkey
Dull
can just
office
whip
monkey.
off a zinger, or as they would call it in the 60s, a boner. Like that.
it. He's just ripping off a boner right here.
Just ripped off a boner right there.
Just whipped out a zinger.
Oh,
That's like an entendre looking at itself in the mirror right there.
Well, let's go from your favorite movie of all time to something more current in our roundup that we like to call.
What did you see? What did you see this week?
We have theme songs.
It's the freeze burn, right? That's what's happening in that sound effect.
Yeah.
Do we go through? Does everybody go through it?
Whoever would
whoever
like to
saw
talk, well, what did you see this week?
I want to hear this movie that you were
Yeah, you
Oh
were
my
excited
God!
earlier.
Oh my
that angered
God.
you. That
Talk about what you
took
saw.
away your 9-year-old boner.
Oh my God! Lead Daniels The Butler. Can I swear on the show?
Yes,
That
fuck
movie
yeah.
can go fuck itself. Fuck that movie. Fuck that fucking movie.
You hear that,
Fuck
Oprah?
that movie. Fuck that movie and fuck anybody who goes and cheers at the end of that motherfucking movie.
Based on the novel,
Fuck,
Bruce, like, go
it
fuck
got
yourself.
me so angry.
Oh,
Now
it was
I'm
such a
gonna
bunch.
see it.
It was such a bunch of pablum, and it was manipulative, and it was like anytime any actor has to age, forget about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in Mr. Saturday Night when they put on all that crappy makeup on him, or what's his name? What was the movie with Russell Crowe?
Beautiful Mind.
Beautiful Mind. They put
I'll
shitty
tell you the
makeup
worst
on.
though. On a quick tangent, Everybody's All American, a movie from the '80s with Dennis Quaid and Jessica Lange as this couple from high school that stayed together, and they grew up and they had all these troubles. But a guy in their life keeps coming in and out. Timothy Hutton. Each time he comes in, he's got a different haircut from the whatever era they're in now. So Timothy Hutton with a goatee. Here comes Timothy Hutton. He's balding. Here comes Timothy Hutton with white hair. And each time it's horrible.
And all you're thinking of is it's horrible. That's what you're thinking.
This takes you right out.
This was the singular issue you had with the movie.
This is it. It was aside from it being it was Forrest
aging.
Gump. It was Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
But okay, first off,
City
the
Leaks.
movie is based on a true story, right?
True.
It's based on, it says it's Lee
so they
Daniels.
say.
It says based on a true story. So what do they do? The main character change his name. What else do they do? Add another son. Come on now, give me really. Really?
In small defense of the movie, Paul and I saw this at the DJ, and Stephen David
Oyelowo.
Ogden Stiers.
David Oyelowo.
The actor that played the son
Right.
spoke afterwards,
Uh-huh.
and he owned up to the fact that it's kind of an amalgam of one or
Then
two or
don't
three.
say
books.
that it's based on a true story.
It's inspired.
Fuck him, man. Fuck that guy.
But here's another thing. 'Cause anybody that
Inspired
knows
by a true
anything
story.
about and I kept watching.
Break
This
it down
is so
for him, Adam.
superficial of all the history. It's just like little pieces of history, little bits of history, and it's
Didn't
and
it
it's
suck
dangerous.
when the 60s were the 60s?
But this is what gets me. They have a shot of, and spoiler alert, John Kennedy is shot. He's assassinated. He was our president. I know,
Damn.
right?
Spoiler alert.
You had a Kennedy joke earlier.
Lyndon
so,
Johnson had a huge dick.
So this is what happened in Dallas. Kennedy, she's wearing the pink outfit. He gets shot. She goes to the hospital. He dies, and suddenly they have to swear in LBJ, right? So they want to swear in LBJ, but they say we got to get you out of Dallas right now. We don't know what's happening. We're going to put you on the plane, and we're going to head back to Washington D.C. And he goes, I'm not going without Jackie Kennedy being on that plane. I will not leave here if the president is not on this plane with me and his wife on the plane with me. So when you see her dressed up, I don't know if you've ever seen the picture of him being sworn in. So this is the thing. There's a shot in this movie where they go, I don't know, if you're wearing a blood-splattered pink wool outfit,
And
you're
who
gonna get the
hasn't,
fuck
really?
out. But you're going to get out of it. So there's a scene in this movie where she's sitting in the White House, and Forrest Whitaker's character says something, whatever the fuck he says. And I'm looking at it going, this did not happen. This clearly did not historically happen. It did not happen. And anybody that knows anything about history, then that was just obviously one little thing that got on my craw.
And they probably did that because they were trying to pull at the heartstrings.
Oh, and here's
and all
another thing.
that.
Here's another thing.
Yep.
Oh, tell me what's going to happen now.
Okay.
All right.
This is
They're
fun.
really
It's a game.
old. They're
All right.
old, and they go through their whole thing, and their boy was killed. And spoiler alert, their boy was killed. And here's another thing.
Yeah.
There's a young man named Barack Obama, and he's running for president. And everybody's on a porch wearing Barack Obama outfits. There's a Barack Obama poster. There's a Barack Obama sticker on the
Just
car.
like
There's-
real life.
Jesus Christ, I was upset about that. So Oprah's at the table, and
Yeah.
she's an old lady, and it's like, fix me some tea. Like, fuck yourself with lines like that. So he goes out, and he's in the front room, and she's like sitting there, and she's drinking her tea, and she's like, you better come in here. And he's, I'm trying to get my sweater, or whatever the fuck it is. What's gonna happen to Oprah?
Oprah's gonna die before he comes
She
back.
fucking dies before I come back. And it's like, really?
You know what? That was done better in that Jack Nicholson movie where he retired.
About Schmidt.
About Schmidt, that was
Right.
done better.
Right.
Right
Fuck
there.
that movie.
Fuck that movie.
Can we do a spoiler recap
I would like to
here?
see Alex.
Best
Okay, so
edition of What Did You
Kennedy's
See This
dead,
Week?
Oprah
Ever.
dies,
Here's another one.
the son
But-
dies.
But I can also say, I was
Well-
one of the first people that said, fuck the English Patient. Fuck that movie.
I agree.
Fuck
I
that
didn't like
movie.
it
And
either.
I'm watching it going, third act, and you're introducing the Sikh guy?
Yeah, no.
Third act? You don't introduce a new character in the third act. What the fuck is wrong with
If you do, I won't care about him. That's all.
Sikh head is probably not the
I'm
politically
sorry,
correct.
Sikh top.
Okay.
Is that bad? You can't say head anymore? What the fuck kind of world do I live
Seekhead,
in?
I don't know if that's the way we want to go.
Hey, and fuck Indiana
He
Jones
was.
and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull while we're at it. Fuck that movie if you're shitting on my childhood.
I'm telling you right now.
Fire it up, Dave.
I'm telling you right now. So in the English
Aliens?
Patient, I'm watching the English
fuck?
Patient.
Spoiler
and
alert.
I'm doing this. I'm like doing one
You're
of
like
these
a Rain
things.
Man.
I'm doing a Rain Man because
Yeah.
like this movie is 4,000 fucking hours long, and you're introducing a new character in the third act. Go fuck yourself. So what happens is I'm watching it, and my wife's going, "Stop it, stop it, stop it." I was married at the time. She's going, "Stop it." It's like, no, shut up. I fucking hate this.
This
movie.
broke up your
And
marriage?
Wait,
This
listen.
fucking movie?
So the movie comes up, and he's like there and going, "Not a character," and then the movie stops, and then it burns. Remember when movies used to do that?
Freeze burn, yeah.
And I immediately go, "Fuck no!" Fuck no!
Yes.
And my wife grabs and goes, "Shut up!" It's like, "Fuck that movie! Fuck them! If they want to."
Dude, I want to party with
What?
you.
The movie burned.
The movie burned.
It
And it's like,
killed
ladies and
itself.
gentlemen, yeah,
It
killed
threw
it.
you out of
Thank
it.
God, right.
Thank God the
Ladies and
movie
gentlemen, really
burned.
sorry. The movie's going to give you just like, I'd fuck you and
got
your
your money
movie.
back.
Shove it up your ass. I don't want the fucking movie money.
Oh, that is so
That's like I
blood
said,
money.
the movie Ultraviolet threw me out of it. Me and my friend Charlie,
Yeah.
we wanted to leave that movie so bad because it was so there's Mila Jovovich action piece of shit. But from the director of Equilibrium, which I loved. Anyway, so we watch it. And we're like, oh, this is a piece of shit. Should we leave? Should we leave? Should we leave? And then finally the film broke, and they're like, we'll give you your money back. We're like, it threw us out. It threw us out.
You manifested it. You manifested
I
it.
think
You
you did
manifested
too. I
it.
think
I've
you
only
did
walked
too.
out of. I did not walk out of that movie, but I got to tell you, Hotel Rwanda couldn't. I hated it. I hated it. Don Cheadle, I can watch him act.
Dave, I hate to point out a theme here
Too
in some
sad.
of the movies that you don't like, but go ahead.
Oh, shut up.
He hates
No.
history. This man hates history.
He hates history.
History.
That's what
Okay.
he hates.
All right. There you go.
Maybe I do.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm a student of history.
So-
and I'm looking
Yeah.
at going, there's an issue with
So
that.
that's
but
what
I don't
you
even know what
saw.
Hotel Rwanda was about. I just watched the first 45 minutes. Like, I don't want to watch Don Cheadle acting anymore. I can't handle it. I can't handle it. And because I don't want to go into a movie and watch somebody act. I want
That
to go to a
says
movie.
something. That was the problem, is you were watching him work. You
Oh,
don't
yeah.
want to watch
Right,
that.
That
right.
one where they're going for the Oscar and they're just
No.
like,
Oh, my
I'm all so
God.
sad. I'm
Oh
just so
my
like
God.
so much.
Every
so much,
Sean
so much.
Penn movie. God damn it.
We're
The
no
hours.
angels. Yeah.
Sorry,
Oh,
right,
yeah.
right. Oh,
for
right.
the Oscar,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. Paul
right.
hated the reader. Could not deal with the
Fuck
reader.
the reader.
Oh,
fuck
the reader.
Amore while we're at it.
Reader. We
Great
got.
movie guy's story though.
Ugh.
Well, first of all, the reader. Did you see the
Oh,
reader?
the reader. Yeah, I saw the reader. Saw the
Okay.
reader. Saw the
All
reader.
right. Now,
yeah.
my whole youth, there was
Talk
always
about 9-year-old boner.
my whole youth, there was always the boring Oscar film, and every year my parents had to go see one movie before the Oscars, and they had to drag me to it. Like for Ordinary People, I was like 8. Like, great, I'm gonna enjoy the shit out of this. So anyway, so we're out one day, and we're a bunch of us movie guys are getting together. Like, let's go see a movie this Sunday. I am pushing for Punisher Warzone.
Okay.
Oh.
I wanted to see Punisher Warzone so bad. Paul, being an Oscar completist, and I respected this, and I think we all did. We actually were going to see even something else.
Spider-Man, I thought.
Was it Spider-Man?
No, I don't think so. It was a winter.
It was like an Oscar thing, but anyway, ended up going to see I was like, no, that is the boring Oscar movie. I know, but I'm like, okay, I'm an adult. So we go in, and sure enough, it's that boring fucking Oscar movie. Nazis and people who can't read, and people who are I mean, just everything. Retarded and can't read, and I mean, everything. They threw everything at the wall, right?
And 20 minutes into the movie, Paul is literally sinking in his seat.
Yeah,
like,
and we're all staring at
I'm
Paul like,
Sorry.
you know.
My fault.
I'm sorry, guys.
But-
Did you like it though? Yeah, go ahead.
No.
Yeah. My favorite story that came out of that, though, is like, I'm like, I can't handle this movie. I got to go to the bathroom. I just barely have to pee, but I'm like, I'm going to pee. I get up, go to the bathroom. I'm coming back, and I right next to the reader is Punisher Warzone. And I'm like, all right, let me just step in and see what's going on at the same point in Punisher Warzone. I walk in, and there's a scene in it where there's a bunch of kids who are doing, what's that where you flip
Parkour.
off?
Parkour, guys.
They're parkouring all over the rooftops. Parkour. And one of them parkours off this thing, and a missile comes in and blows him up, and you cut to the Punisher holding a missile launcher, and he drops it and picks up a gun and shoots the rest of them. And I was like... And then I went back to the reader. I mean, blew him up in the sky into red mist. Yeah. It's a kind of a joke, really, how violent the movie is. But
and they're like, we own this town.
We own this town. Yeah, exactly.
So like what the Nazis did to Paris.
Exactly
Oh,
the same thing.
Exactly. If we must make a reader comparison.
No, the reader was terrible.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my
so that's it. I'm glad
Yeah,
I got
That's
that
what
out
you
of my
saw
system.
this week.
Yeah, I don't see many movies.
Like,
That
I
was
saw
the best.
I saw Riddick, and Riddick was bad, but I not
Oh.
that it's that innocuous that I can't get that feverish about it even being that bad.
I don't know why I hated it so much, but I hated it so much.
Did you like The Notebook?
I don't. I think I went really. I think The Notebook came out when I was at Second City directing a main stage show, and I was having such a miserable fucking time directing those people that I was like,
it was a point
and I went,
of happiness.
I was like, I'm
for
going
you.
to go see this movie, and I went to the Carnegie. The Esquire on Oak Street, and I was the only person in the movie theater to see it. So I smoked cigarettes and I watched the fucking movie, like old school. Going, I'm gonna smoke, and nobody's gonna fucking come in here. And I stood up and I walked around. And it's like I'm the only person here.
I enjoyed the commitments with the pizza because no one else was in there. My
Nobody
friend
else
Quinn and I brought
love
pizza.
going. I
Sat
love
in the
going
aisle,
back.
ate a pizza, and watched the movie.
Right. And it's like talking, and you get to sit in different places. How's it going? Really good. But when you're by yourself, I think smoking cigarettes, it was a fun. But I wouldn't see that again. I don't see many movies twice.
I don't either.
I don't understand owning another. I don't understand owning movies. Like I'm seeing all these movies that you have in VHS, and I'm going, what have you like? Do you ever?
Well, we use them for reference too, though. Like Paul will pull a movie out to pull a clip or something, but not these anymore.
Well,
the DVD.
Yeah, I don't know why I have
in
those.
in the VHS era, and I think Paul would admit to this, I admitted to it and promptly got rid of all of mine. I bought movies to show everyone how much I liked movies. And then one day I was like, I don't have to fucking show anybody how much I like movies, whatever.
Yeah.
So I kept the couple that were like super rare. I got a Comic-Con or whatever, and I threw the rest.
You guys, listen. There's
Well,
this
VHS
group.
is so throwback, though. I gotta hang on to it.
Yeah, right? No.
I've gone too far.
Yeah,
right?
my
No.
VCR
Yes.
will plug into my HDTV. So
Well,
I don't know
now
what the fuck
it's
to
so much
do.
easier to get movies too. Back
Right.
then, it wasn't quite as easy.
I have this. Maybe you've heard it. I've heard this club called Fuck That Book Club.
Oh, I don't know.
And this is the
but I
Fuck
like
That
it.
Book Club.
great.
That book that you have on your nightstand that you're not going to finish reading. Fuck that book. Throw
Right.
it away. Right? That
This
book
is
that you
really
read
important.
once and you're never going to read it
You
again.
gotta
Fuck
clear
that
it
book.
out so a
exactly.
good book can come in.
That's exactly.
Again.
But there's also this, and it's Fuck Those Clothes Club. That shirt you're never going to wear. Fuck that.
yes.
And you know what ends up happening? You know what ends up happening? You have more room in your closet. You have more room in your closet.
Holy shit, Marty DeMott, who we've decided you are now.
Mm-hmm.
He told us in class that you have to get rid of things so there's room for new things to come in. And
Right.
if you don't wear that shirt or whatever, if you don't wear it for a year, fuck that shirt,
Fuck
throw
that
it
shirt.
out.
Fuck that shirt. And you know what? Fuck that friend.
Oh!
Fuck that friend club. Fuck that friend. That person is toxic to me. Fuck
Get
that
the fuck
person.
out.
I
That
belong.
person-
Yeah, crazy makers.
I belong to that Fuck That Friend Club at a very different point to that club. There's a
He
very,
fucks
there's a very different.
Oh, I bet they're not
There's a
friends
very
anymore.
different motivation behind
Right.
it.
Well, anybody else see anything?
No, I did
No one
not.
can compare to that.
Nobody saw anything.
All right. Well, we saw the family.
You saw the family.
Yeah,
We
How
saw
was
the
it?
family, but
Is it Luc Bessani?
Is
or is
that
it?
It's Luc Bessani, but it has a second act that makes characters make weird choices. It doesn't pay off.
It looks like two different movies to me.
that's a good way to
But
say it.
yeah, it could be the good mix, but it's not.
At first I thought, oh, it's a comedy, and then when I watched the trailer, I thought it's not.
Yeah, and then when there's collateral damage at the end, you're like, oh, I thought we were having fun here.
Oh
Yeah.
no,
You know?
really?
Yeah.
French people? Is any bread
It's true.
hurt?
There's this.
I didn't see any
there's
bread
a fromage car bomb.
No, stop it, stop it,
Yes,
stop it,
that's
stop it.
true.
Stop it.
If you like fromage,
Stop it.
The fromage car bomb is a horrible scene.
horrible
Oh, did
scene.
you?
Drive by
I remember
baguetting.
going.
Thank
I
you,
remember
Paul.
in college we'd make fromage car bombs at the bar.
What?
We'd have fromage car bombs.
Isn't that when you just fart in the car and don't open the windows? Isn't that
No,
what
I
that
think that's
is?
a
Yeah.
Dutch.
And then you blame it.
car
And
It's a Dutch oven bomb.
then you blame it on
Dutch oven
McDonald's.
bomb.
You're like, oh, I just had McDonald's in the car.
Sorry.
It smells like a fart.
I'll do that from now on.
Seriously, if you ever fart in a car and someone's like, did you
Here's
fart in
another
my
thing you
car?
can do.
I got McDonald's.
Just tell someone that you farted in the car.
Yeah, I should probably just do that.
Fuck that story.
Fuck that.
Fuck that story.
story.
Fuck that story.
Fuck that
No,
car.
I do that when I don't want them to know I had McDonald's.
Yeah, right? Exactly. I come home, I'm like, honey, I smell like fart.
You know, when he was talking about all that improv, I'm like, man, Dave is just the most positive guy. I'm going to take one of his classes, and now he's fuck everything.
And that's why
but
I
the
like
fuck
it.
everything. The fuck everything is not a negative
It's
thing.
freedom,
It's
right?
about
It's
giving you
freedom.
room
You're right,
for
you're right,
things.
you're
You know,
Yeah.
that's what it's about.
Because we hold on to things because we people please, which I have a problem with, and I try so hard to get over it. But I hold on to, I'll hold on to that person, or I'll hold on to this thing because I might, be a good
Right.
person and get
But
around
you
to
won't.
it. I won't
No,
be a
you
good
don't.
person.
And
Fuck
but here's
that.
another thing that I love. I love the idea of like the fuck that book thing, where I got rid of a whole bunch of books, and I do have more room now. And all the shirts and clothes and coats that I'm not going to wear, like shit from Chicago, where I'm going. I've been out here for 20 years, and that parka not only do I not need it, it's ugly.
It's not in style.
No,
I had
it's not
to
in
fuck
style.
I had to fuck one of my jackets because I went to to Italy and I wanted a cute new jacket. The jackets are much smaller now. I look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in my 1990s jacket.
Right.
Not cute.
Not
Anyway,
yet.
yeah.
Not yet.
Fuck that jacket.
All right. Well, everybody
Jesus,
exhale. That was good.
really good.
That was good.
That was
But we have
really
some some final questions for you
Yes.
before you go. In a little something we call
5. Haha, said 5. What? Yeah, 5. Haha, question for other guests.
5 questions for other guests. All right, Dave. So these are questions we put together that were going to be for other guests. But now that you're here, we might as well ask them to you.
Are you going to tell me who you're going to ask them for?
You might get the idea of who they're for.
Oh.
But it's up to you just to answer the questions that we are going to put to you. So our first question is, what do you regret most about introducing the world to twerking?
What do I regret the fact that the things that I was normally having sex doing is now a dance.
You know, I could see you doing that while you're having sex.
Yeah.
Certainly.
No, it's not while I'm having sex. It's the way that I have sex.
So
That's what I'm saying.
Do you do you have sex up against a wall upside down?
Who
Wow.
hasn't? What movie was that? That was in Godfather 2, right? Fucking up against the door.
James Caan.
Yeah, James Caan. Bam, blam, ba, bam, ba, blam, ba, blam, blam.
And then Andy Garcia in Godfather 3 was that kid.
Right.
From that
twerking incident.
Isn't that interesting? From the twerking up against the wall.
Yes. Yeah.
Historical twerk.
Nickname Hinges.
Dave,
Hey,
I
Hinges.
was
Twerks through history.
I'm curious if going forward you feel that nudity is an essential part of your music videos.
Nudity is an essential part because because I want people to see my junk.
Your junk, okay.
Yeah, I don't know why
And
you wouldn't.
and for me, I look and I go, this is what God gave me. I have nothing to do with it.
You just got
God,
lucky.
God loves me more than he loves tiny dick people.
Well, this brings up your follow-up, Lee.
Yeah.
The chafing thing? You should ask that.
Oh yeah, did you experience any chafing while on the wrecking ball for that last video? Since you are
Since you have huge junk, yeah.
some
I
substantial
would,
girth.
except I was already chafed from the twerking.
All right, fuck that junk.
Fuck that wrecking ball.
All right, so Dave, now that you've once again wowed the world with an amazing advancement in technology and innovation, keeping your pulse on the future of communication, what color phone is next for you?
It's baby blood red.
Sign me up. I want to
pretty
see
radical.
that.
Named after the Chinese people who made it.
In honor of.
Dave, I was curious, how did you explain the loss of the Syria contract to your stockholders?
I said this. I got to make a joke out of everything. It's like, are you serious? This is a
I
problem.
bet that lightened the mood.
They love puns. The stockholders love a pun. And while they're laughing, I'm taking the train home.
That's the euphemism for twerking.
Exactly.
Taking the train.
Taking the train home.
Hey, baby, let's take the train home.
It's a new dance, actually.
Final question for you, Dave.
Yes.
What does God have against your career as a quarterback in the NFL?
God hates Jews.
That is an
I've heard
underlying
that.
theme,
Right.
yeah.
He's not been kind to them historically.
No, chosen. Fuck your chosen. Chose somebody else next time.
He chose your junk.
Bad choser.
Yeah, he gave you that. So.
A short and succinct answer. So thanks for playing, Dave. But stick around. We're going to have our grand finale, the birthdays of those who make the movies. Karen?
Well, everyone, get excited because it's Boyfriend Week here at the birthdays. Not only do we have Dave with us, but we have a lot of hotties who are having birthdays this week. It's a very good week for movie hotties being born. Let's all start the celebration right off by wishing a happy birthday to Harry Connick Jr.
Yay!
Who turns 46 but can play anywhere from award-winning pianist to Broadway star.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that Connick.
Who apparently plays the piano even in the Pajama Game, which is weird because I did that show and nobody played the piano in our version.
I love all his movie.
Okay. All right. I've only seen one movie that Harry Connick had been in, but I immediately fell in love with him.
Hope Floats.
I was just going to say, can you name it?
No.
You guys?
No, sorry. Hope
Hope
Floats.
Floats? No, perfect.
Well, Little Man Tate, he's actually.
I was going to
Now-
say Copycat, but I knew it was Hope Floats.
Yeah, I love Hope Floats. Now, the thing that's obvious in this is that Sandra Bullock was producing the movie, and she didn't know whether or not Harry Connick could handle playing opposite her in a romantic lead in such a big part, because he never really did anything before, so she flew him down to Texas to audition. After he auditioned, he caught a ride back to L.A. on Sandra's private jet and kept asking her if he got the part. He says, I was dying on my feet trying to squeeze information out of her, and suddenly she lifts her sweater up and with this naughty smile on her face starts to take her sweater off. I didn't know where to look, and then I saw what she had done. She had written in marker pen on her stomach, "You've got the part." I have been acting for about 20 years, and I've never had a producer give me a part that way. Gentlemen,
You've gotten parts that way.
I certainly have gotten
I've
parts.
gotten parts.
2
Taken
points.
yes, sir.
2
Yes,
points.
Yes.
A, fuck that title. Hope Floats is the worst title
bad.
that any movie, because
I
it makes
agree.
no sense, and you've even said you've seen it, and it makes no sense
No,
even
but
that you've seen
I
it.
did learn what that's about. It's like some other movie with a family. They have all their belongings. They're moving somewhere. Steve Scholes told me this. They're moving somewhere. The plane goes down into the water, and the people are kind of coming out of it, but everything they have is lost. And apparently earlier in their life, they had a dog named Hope, and they had it stuffed, and it was in the plane, and they knew it would be okay because
Well,
they
this
looked,
sounds like a great movie.
and their dog was floating.
Hope Floats is nothing about this, though.
Second point?
Yes.
That is the second time you brought up Hope Floats in your birthdays. That's
love
it. You're cut off. No more. You've got to reference something else that either of those actors have done if we come around to this next year. No more
Okay,
Hope Floats.
Well, just hang on.
Directed by The Butler's Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, ooh. Yes.
Is a Hope Float the one with ice cream and just a little bit of...
I
With a
want to
little
say,
bit of hope.
I do want to say poop floats.
Hope Floats.
Hope
Well, if you don't
floats.
eat enough protein, it does.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
All right, so talking about taking your shirt off, let's wish another happy birthday to the very sexy Colin Firth, who turns 57, but can play anywhere from... I know, but he's still so young.
I don't think I want to see him shirtless, do I?
Yes, well, not now, but
Or
you
saying
did.
you got the part.
He opens his pants and says, "Congratulations, Karen Volpe, you've got the part in my new movie." And that's just,
He takes his
he's
pants.
well,
I'd
he's
be
well into it.
passed out by then. He can play anywhere from Mr. Darcy to the King of England. I first fell in love with Colin along with Bridget Jones and Bridget Jones' Diary. Now, can you gentlemen name the other movies that I fell in love with Colin Firth in? Go.
King's
No.
Speech.
King's Speech. Okay.
No.
There's other movies
Con
where
Air.
he's
No,
very
that's
dreamy.
Colin-
No.
He's
Whose
been
line
in
is it
other
anyway?
movies?
No,
The
it's
Bridget
Colin
Jones
Firth.
sequel.
Bridget Jones sequel, of
Yeah.
course. Yes. Jamie, do you know?
Love Actually.
Yes. Love Actually.
Nanny McPhee. You see that?
MTV's Remote Control. Now
Yes.
it's Colin
No.
Which one movies with Peter Firth in? Remember when he was a thing?
No, Mamma Mia, of course. Everyone loves Mamma Mia. And A Single Man, where he
Valmont.
played
Single
a
Man.
gay man.
Right, right,
And his
right,
corgi doggies
right.
died at the beginning. That
You
was
didn't
very
like
sad.
that movie. You don't like
Well-
Colin Firth sad. That's what
He
you
was
said.
sad.
You didn't like...
I
a
did
sing-
like it eventually.
I just hope he has 4 more generations of kids and they all keep the same name. So some way we can be Colin Firth the 5th.
Colin Firth the Fourth would be the hard
Colin
one.
Firth
Yeah,
the 4th.
fourth.
You're
Colin
right.
Firth the Fourth.
Firth.
And Colin Firth the First.
And now Jamie...
Firth Floats. Did you see that? Was that one of your
No,
favorites?
shut up. Now, Jamie may have helped you along with this, but she won't help you this time. Can you name the entertainment where Mr. Firth can be found shirtless on screen?
No, I can't.
It's
No.
so yummy.
The entertainment?
Yes,
That's not a
it's
movie.
not a movie.
Oh.
It's
candy?
a TV series,
Oh.
and he took his shirt off, and I liked it. Did you like it? Yes.
X-Files.
No, close.
Close Encounters.
I call it the Jane Austen porn,
Saving Grace.
Pride and Prejudice. You're boys. You would have seen this, but you
right,
put that
no.
in, you get some ice cream going. All right. And lastly, since we're talking about
You
Jane
put that
Austen
in,
porn,
you get
I
some
don't
ice
even
cream.
Try
know.
again.
Yeah.
Hey, with the
You put
birthdays,
one
try
in.
again.
Okay.
And you're hired.
let's wish a happy birthday to my other favorite Brit, Hugh Grant,
Oh, for
who
Christ's sake.
also turns 53. It's the
It
week
is
of
boyfriend
miracles.
Birthdays.
He's got to
Happy
go away.
birthday.
This is about-
Hugh Grant has to do one more movie and then be done.
Oh, well, okay.
No, he needs to play a bad guy. Is what he
He'd
needs
be
to do.
good
I think
as
he
a
also-
bad
I think
guy.
great bad guy.
He would also be a good Stan Laurel to play the Stan Laurel movie and then be done with it.
He would, because he has that kind of confused
Exactly.
look about him.
Right.
He could play anywhere from a flop top to the prime minister. And I first fell in love with Hugh Grant along with Bridget Jones and Bridget Jones' Diary. Can any of you others tell me which other movies I fell in love with Hugh Grant? Come on!
Four
Weddings
Weddings
and a
and a
Funeral.
Funeral.
Yes?
Maurice.
A boy's
Siren.
A boy's
9 months.
A boy's,
Boys. I have it here. Wait.
life.
About a boy?
A boy. About a boy.
No, about a boy. Yes.
About a boy.
Was he in the movie Siren?
A Batabat?
A bada
About a boy. No. Or maybe yes, but he
He
did
was
not
in the movie
make me
Sirens
love
with the
him
naked
in
Elle
that one.
McPherson,
Yes.
where I fell in love with
Oh,
her.
there
That's
you go.
exactly where that
That's
happened for
very
me.
good.
Oh, that was a great
Naked.
movie.
There is
Wow.
one
Great.
movie that I have a great menage a trois thing going on in my mind. It's him. It's Notting Hill, right? So he's in Notting Hill with Julia Roberts.
And Luc
Julia Roberts, of course, is married to Lyle Lovett, who's my other boyfriend. So you got a whole bunch of loving going on there. That's pretty awesome.
But are you kicking
There was
Julia out of the
another
room?
movie,
Yeah, we
but he
know,
was
I
also
like
in another
Julia.
movie that I walked out of. The man who
Uh-oh.
walked up a hill and came down a yawn.
Oh
Like
my-
that movie.
No.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, I never saw that.
You're
Terrible.
right.
that movie.
Terrible.
Fuck that movie.
That was a movie that was showing in one
Rename
theater,
this segment.
and Pulp Fiction was showing in the other theater. And I went to my friend Richard Label. I went, "We got to get out of here." And we went to that movie. Fuck that movie.
I like Notting Hill, though. You guys have to admit. Come on.
Fuck that movie.
Notting
New
Hill's
segment
awesome.
in the future.
Fuck that movie.
Fuck that movie.
All right, and lastly, can you name the Jane Austen porn that Hugh Grant was in, but I don't think he took off his shirt?
I can.
Yeah, that's
Jane Austen porn?
Yes, she makes these movies
Pride and
with
Prejudice.
these yummy
Pride and
men.
Penises.
That
That
was
was
the
Colin
one with
Firth.
Colin Firth.
Sense and Sensibility.
Sense and Sensibility. So now I ask you, when is Jane Austen going to get smart and make a movie called Grant and Firth? And they just take their shirts off and run
Grant and
around
Firth.
naked. It's a birthday miracle this week. I'm telling you.
Yeah, Julia. That's birthdays,
Yay!
everybody.
Happy birthday!
All right, so that wraps another movie showcast. Together we are the Movie Guys. Individually we are.
Here,
And,
a little
Preston. Follow us on Twitter at The Movie Guys, on Facebook at facebook.com/The Movie Guys, as well as on YouTube, SoundCloud, Vine, whatever. What else? Instagram,
You're
Google
on Vine?
Plus, LinkedIn.
Yeah.
The
you name it, we're
internet,
all over that
people.
shit.
It's 6 seconds of movie guy.
We do
Yeah.
6-second reviews.
Quick.
Boom. We get it
Yeah,
up.
yeah. We
If
were
you
able
have
to
no
review them
time.
in 6 seconds.
We just put. Why is that creepy?
We
thing?
just say, fuck that movie, and then we move
I
on.
thought you meant to do
Creepy
that.
kids
you
were
really
playing.
do 6-second movie
Yeah.
reviews? You guys, how come I've never have you posted on Facebook?
I have.
It's on the internet.
Sure, we'll
just-
send
At
them directly to you.
Send them to
Facebook.com/The
me.
Movie Guys.
I was going to suggest this to Dave. I want to plug something here in case anyone hears it. There's
Yep.
a great improv show at the Hollywood Improv on Saturday at 8 o'clock. Have you been to Deep Dish yet, Dave?
No.
Pizza.
I'm going to.
I'm not going to be there on Saturday. I'm going to be in
well,
San Francisco.
If anybody
doing
who's
that.
listening is
Deep
in
Dish
Los
sounds
Angeles
really
at the
cool.
Hollywood Improv, it's the greatest. It's the greatest performers from IO, UCB, Second City. Dan Backadall, Joe Canale, Rob Janis, Joe Benjamin, Josh Myers.
And if you were in
Brian
San
Shortall.
Francisco, though, Dave will be performing with the great Rachel Hamilton.
Oh,
Right,
Oh,
on the
Rachel.
13th and 14th.
Would
that
you
night,
call this
so-
a Razowsky and series? Because it's always Razowsky and Clifford or Razowsky
Right.
and Hamilton. So it's
Razowsky
like
and Bernard, Razowsky and Honeycutt?
You should
Really
take
good.
your shirts
Razowsky
off. You
and-
should get Hugh
Should.
Grant.
Should.
Razowsky
Have
Razowsky
you seen
and
me?
Firth.
Right.
I'm just saying.
I'm taking my pants off on stage.
That's because you have a giant slung.
Exactly.
We learned
Hello,
this today.
Marsha.
Movie Guys.
it's a breaking news.
Also-
Jew with a big schlong. Ladies and gentlemen, we should also thank Ripley Filipowicz for being the creepy kid singing. Find out everything else you want to know about David Razowsky at davidrazowsky.com and the ADD Comedy Podcast on iTunes. Thanks to Jamie Clark Elvington in charge of watching the board and animal wrangling. And, of course, Steve Scholes for his writing contributions to the show every week. And you can find everything we're up to at themovieguys.net. Thanks for listening.
Yay!